Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Gabriella. I make videos about fragrance, astrology, self-care, mental health, actor life, living in LA. I do vlogs and whatever else I feel like talking about. So if that sounds like your jam, please stick around. Today's video, we're gonna have a little fun. I felt like talking about fragrance today. So we are going to talk about something I haven't really seen on YouTube because it's difficult to put into words. But as people know who have watched my fragrance videos, I have a very unique way of describing fragrances, often with musical instruments or fantasy images. I find myself, although I know I'm someone who loves warm, gourmand fragrances, another genre of fragrance in my collection is magical. And I know that people don't really use that word to describe families of fragrance, but I do. I have a lot of magical, sparkly, fantasy type of fragrances, and I grew up reading fantasy novels. I love fantasy movies and books, and so I figure let's make a video about my most magical fragrances. Fragrances that make me feel like I'm in another world, like I am capturing something special. Let's just get into it because I'm so excited. Okay, where to begin? Oh, I'm going to begin with the most magical fragrance that I've ever smelled. The most magical fragrance in my collection, and possibly the most remarkable perfume that I think has ever been created, honestly, that I've smelled so far. This is Insolence by Guerlain. This is the Eau de Toilette. And I bought this one from Fragrance Net, and it was quite affordable. So this is considered a violet fragrance, and people said it's supposed to smell like candied violets, and I haven't really had candied violets before, but I do have some. They're not mints because they're not peppermint, but they're French floral mints, and I bought orange blossom and violet, and I can say the violet definitely, I understand now what violet tastes like. And so in a way, this is sort of a gourmand. This is like a floral gourmand, which is right up my alley. That's pretty much the only way I like to consume florals. Sometimes when people say powdery, I think of baby powder and talc. This is more, this smells dry. This fragrance smells, it doesn't smell oily or wet in any way. It smells very dry, and therefore I find when it dries on the skin, when it's been on the skin for a while, the scent is absolutely stunning, show-stopping. I never smelled this on anyone before. I don't think. I would have stopped them and asked them what they're wearing. And I remember when I first smelled this, I was at Disneyland. I was at one of the little perfume shops at Disneyland, and I smelled it in the bottle. They pointed this one out as a very special fragrance, and I was like, And then once I wrapped my brain, 2 seconds later after it had sort of digested in my system, I was awestruck. And I sprayed it on me, and I didn't buy it because it was quite expensive, but all through the night I smelled it. I remember going on Pirates of the Caribbean and my skin got a little wet and it reactivated the fragrance, and I just knew eventually I would have to buy this, and I'm so glad I did. This is absolutely stunning. I've described this in my, I believe it was my perfume collection video. This to me smells like if you wandered into a magical forest, or you wandered through the mists of Avalon and ended up in a beautiful forest, fairy forest, and you fell asleep in the moss. This isn't mossy, but like, let's say you fell asleep in violets, right? You wake up and there are like a bunch of little fairies around you, and they're like, what is this stinky human doing in our forest? We have to bathe her. So they bring you to this giant tub, and they're scrubbing you with these lavender pink bubbles, and you know, they're shampooing you and brushing your hair, and it's a very, like, I'm seeing a very much a Mulan moment, like, well honey, I've seen worse, we're going to turn into a silk purse, right? Okay, that moment. Is it obvious that I'm a theater person? Anyway, this smells like that. It smells clean. There's nothing about this that is traditionally sexy or sensual or like carnal in any way. It is innocent, stunning, clean. Innocent but not childish. I can't imagine a young woman wearing this. This is like mid-20s and up. I don't think I would have worn this at age 17, 18, 19, To me, it doesn't smell dated at all. So, I mean, I'm a young woman who I like a bit of vintage flair, but I don't like anything that's too dated as far as fragrance goes. And this is just pink fairy bubbles, fresh out of the fairy bath, clean hair, clean skin. They've put a nice cotton dress on you and you're gonna go to fairy dinner. This is what this smells like. And it's just the most beautiful bottle. So, Insolence Eau de Toilette by Guerlain. This is number one, the fragrance that makes me feel most magical, most connected to another world when I wear this. And I have really enjoyed wearing it to bed, actually. I find it very calming. It's almost like the elegant perfume version of lavender. It's not herbal, but it soothes me more than actual lavender does. So, I freaking love this fragrance. And, this will be in my collection forever. All right, the next magical fragrance I got it from Scentbird. This is Baiser Volé Eau de Parfum by Cartier. This is a very green fragrance, but it's feminine. So I'm not getting the green, low to the ground green. Here come my weird descriptions. I'm not getting like face in the moss, face in the wet grass, you know, forest type of green. Okay, so we'll do scenarios, okay? I love this stuff. I love playing with the imagination. So this is, you go to a young witch's house. She's like 24, 25. She's got her own cottage and she is like a green witch. She loves botanical studies and she's maybe a florist, even though if she doesn't tell people a witch, she's a florist. And you come in to visit her and she's cutting roses, and the green stem of the roses, that's what this is. So it's young, sprightly. This is like a sprite would wear this. So it's not like dirty. You know how people describe patchouli, sort of dirty? It's not like a dirty green. This is really, really sparkly. It's great for the daytime. I wouldn't wear this at night. I don't see it that way. It's a morning fragrance. Even fresh out of the shower, 8 a.m., I would wear this. So I know this has other florals in there. I'm not a notes expert and I don't have all these notes memorized, but I know how they make me feel. And so this is green and I want to say this has rose. But even for those of you who don't like rose, I think you will enjoy this fragrance because I'm kind of having a moment where I'm taking a break. We're separated, me and Rose, because I was obsessed with rose and I just need a second. And I still wear this. This is so beautiful. It's wet. It's like dewdrops on rose petals and whiskers on kittens and rain falling on, you know, fresh rain in the garden. Not that I smell basil or something, a fresh herb, but I almost smell something herbal. This is like rose and herb garden, but not like a culinary way. You're not gonna smell like you're in the kitchen cooking something. Springtime in a bottle. This is, the world is bursting with life. Flowers and plants are thriving. This is springtime in a bottle. That is Cartier Baiser Volé Eau de Parfum, and it is amazing. So that is Botanical Witch fragrance. All right, this next fragrance is like, ooh, if it is like wet, rainy, springtime weather in New Orleans, and you're gonna go visit like a hoodoo practitioner, and she is like, she's forever young. This is what I'm seeing. Sorry if my camera moved around a little bit. I had to adjust some things. Anyway, this is stunning. This is like, okay, so in French and Spanish, Sauvage, Salvaje, it's wild. In English, the word savage just doesn't have the same, you don't get the same feeling. I mean, like, it doesn't have a good history, that word. But like, Sauvage, Salvaje, it's wild and untamed, unbridled, and that's what Carnal flower is. It is like the white flower for the woman who wants to be looked at, who is completely aware of her femininity, just a juicy person, full of life, full of sensuality. I'm seeing like Oshun, or like some kind of full-bodied goddess, Yemaya, I'm getting the like Orishas vibes. I'm getting old Santeria, hoodoo power, okay? Just like the brutal sensuality of white flowers. And what's carnal about this is that this contains a note that it's a sort of pheromone, I think, that flowers give off as a warning. So there is something dangerous about it. And then I believe in the notes when I looked them up, there is like coconut milk or coconut. So it's warm and it's full-bodied and robust, and it's not as heady as normal white florals. It's just towing the line that it would give me a headache, but honestly, I still wear it. And as long as I don't overspray, I'm fine, but it's just because white florals can do that to a lot of people, including me. But this is just so unique, and it's so feminine. It's that feminine energy in a bottle that women compliment me unbelievably on this. Men, you know, they like more of the warm vanilla gourmand usually. This is, women love this. It's the juice of feminine energy. So yeah, stunning, powerful woman. Woman to be feared, to be reckoned with, but also loving and so stunning. All right, another fragrance that I've recently fallen in love with during this lockdown, because I've been trying to use up some of my samples. I have so many. This is Rêve d'Infini by Lalique. This is the Eau de Parfum. This is stunning. So I sprayed it on my hand. This is a little bit of classic perfume. All right, so right off the bat when you spray it, to me, it's sparkly. It's tiny diamonds in a champagne glass. It's that sound. It's little twinkling bells and flutes. It's really, really high up here. Sparkly, sparkly. Not so much floral, though. Not like heady, but it's just champagne bubbles. And then there's a soapy cleanness to it, but not soapy like powdery, not like Dove soap, not anything like Philosophy, but it's clean. This person is freshly clean. Then there's this note down here, low in the atmosphere, that's like not too low, but it's masculine. It's a little bit cologne-like, which is exactly why I think I love this. It gives a little bit of that edge that's like, yes, this is twinkly up here, but boom, this is grounded. Ooh, to me, this is particularly the image, Hera and Zeus. This is Mount Olympus's signature fragrance, okay? Because I get the heavenly celestial vibe. I feel higher when I smell this, if that makes sense. But then there's something sensual a little bit about it and something powerful, and I'm almost envisioning like lightning bolts, like in a very elegant Greek way, ancient Greek. I'm just sort of picturing Hera from the Hercules cartoon wearing this, just like golden and beautiful and sparkly. And like as she holds the baby, this is what she would smell like. I'm just gonna let these visions just go because this is how I talk, okay? This is almost motherly as well. This is not something at all that a young teenager would wear. I don't think I would have gravitated towards this at all. I think only perhaps this year would I have given this a second thought. When I smelled it, I was like, oh, it's not my thing. And then smelling it on my skin, that masculine note is just so unique, paired with how sparkly and light. It's almost like grapefruity. I'm not sure if that's an actual note, but it's not sour, but it's so bright, like grapefruit. And then there's like that classic cologne-y masculine type of smell. It also doesn't smell new. I would never guess that this was released in 2020. It smells a little, not dated, a little historical, a little bit classic. And this to me I think I would like to get a full bottle of this and just make it my everyday fragrance. It's definitely not LA. It's a little fancier. This is like an everyday Paris fragrance. Yeah, I'm getting like classic Greek god, classic beauty, classic power. This is Rêve d'Infini by Lalique, Eau de Parfum. All right, so we already talked about one Guerlain. We're gonna talk about another one. This is part of their Elixir Charnel line, and this one is called Floral Romantique. And first of all, again, another stunning bottle from Guerlain. This is floral, and this one smells dated. I love it. This smells like you are from another time traveler. This is like a Baroness. Okay, when I smell this, I'm thinking of Once Upon a December. Even the way that music box looked in Anastasia. This is what I'm getting wealth, maybe old Russian royalty, but I'm getting old European, dignified, but opulent, okay? Like ballroom opulence. Also, I've never watched, Downton Abbey. I've never watched Downton Abbey, but this is also giving me Downton Abbey vibes of what I see is like very buttoned up, but very, very elegant. On the skin, this is stunning. I'm not sure how to describe this other than that. I mean, it's just from another time. It's vintage elegance in a bottle, but it's not that super powdery, heavy, something like Shalimar. It's not that. It's undeniably a floral and almost that vintage, sweet, juicy floral that's almost a little grapey. I don't know why, it's a little grapey to me. I'm not smelling much like vanilla or anything heavy here. This is middle. This is middle of the line. It's not too sparkly and it's not heavy. It's honey florals in their most ripe, like they're in full bloom. When I smell this, I feel transported to another time and I feel 100 times more elegant when I wear this. It's stunning. This is also a wonderful bridal fragrance. Like real life princess, baroness, lady, bride. Oh, this is Floral Romantique by Guerlain. Okay, so this one is 1932 by Chanel. And I'm not sure, there is something about this. Okay, hear me out. This smells to me like how the Hans Christian Andersen Little Mermaid statue looks. It's in Copenhagen, right? I'm gonna sound stupid if it's not. But anyway, when I see that statue and I think of the ocean and I think of her turning to foam and I think of a mermaid, if I think of a woman in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and I think about if that was one of her favorite stories. She's very connected to mermaids, but she's also a European woman in the late 1800s, early 1900s. This is that to me. This is a beautiful old mansion, a beautiful old family home, reading a fairy tale book on a spring day, or maybe on a fall day, reading about mermaids. There's something aquatic to this. It's very wet. And the star note in this is jasmine. So to me, this has that dated Chanel smell. If you don't like Chanel perfume at all, you probably won't like this. But the jasmine stood out to me. I remember smelling all of these different special fragrances in Vegas when I was at the Chanel store, and this one just stood out to me. And I later found out that jasmine was the star note. But jasmine with this Chanel is like, the jasmine is the magic. The jasmine is the fairy tale, mermaid long hair beauty. And the Chanel is the old school money, the old school lavish dignity. So to me, this is, this is a young, wealthy woman, a woman in her, I mean, anybody can wear this, but if I'm thinking back to the olden days, a woman in her early 20s, an avid reader, she's very intelligent, she's spending her time in the library reading about mermaids and wishing that she were a mermaid. That's what I can say. That's 1932 by Chanel. All right, I have two more fragrances that I'm gonna share. So they're both oils. This one is 1111 by Lalique and Skye. This literally makes me believe in the beauty of the world. This is aromatherapy to me, okay? Not just like essential oils are great, but this is aromatherapy that you wear as a fragrance. This is so wet and lush. Very aquatic, very marine to me. This is a skin scent. And speaking of mermaids, it's giving me a mermaid vibe. This is like modern coastal witch to me. If there were a young woman who lived by the ocean, maybe Selkies. All right, so Selkies are, I believe the stories began in Ireland, if I'm not wrong, but they were women, seal women. And there's a beautiful movie I watched. It's an animated film about Selkies. I can't remember what it's called, but I loved it. But anyway, this is what that is. And for some reason, when I think of Selkies, I think of a motherly energy, maybe because they remind me a little of manatees, and manatees are also, seem so sweet. This is close to the skin. I'm thinking of, this reminds me of the soft skin of a seal. Like, well, once I touched a dolphin, so I'm assuming seals feel kind of really, really soft and smooth like that. Or like a baby, if you were a baby Selkie, a little baby seal cuddled up to your mom. And then it just smells like seawater and fresh air and like clouds. It also reminds me of in Fantasia. Remember in Fantasia, there is that that song where there are the blue whales and they're like jumping into the sky and into the clouds and stuff. That's what this is. This is daytime, afternoon, nighttime, whatever. This is, you can't sleep and you put this on. This is marine magic. This is the magic of the ocean, and it's right in between masculine and feminine. It's neutral, and it is just oceanic magic, and that's 1111 by Lake and Skye. And also this stays on very, very well, and people lose it when they smell this on your skin because it's so natural, but there's something there that is just, I mean, I have never ever found another fragrance that smells like this. So, huge fan. And the last one is a fragrance that I've been wearing from since high school. This is Persian Garden by Kuumba Made. It's a fragrance oil. I know you can buy these at Whole Foods. I've seen them at Sprouts. And this one is, okay, so I need a new one. I can't quite smell all those notes that clearly, but it's floral and then very green. And this is another one. I mean, my two oils here, I have never found another fragrance that smells like this. And this one, people love on my skin. My close friends, I have a friend who whenever I wear this, she's like, that's you. I think of you when that is so you. That's your smell. And I love that. And it's subtle enough to wear to work, something like this as well. It's not very loud, but when people are close to you, or if you happen to get caught in the rain and it reactivates the scent, it's just addictive. You just want to keep smelling it and bury your face in it, but it's not loud and obnoxious. And so this is just a beautiful, beautiful skin scent, like your skin, but better. You clean, feeling good about yourself, giving off good vibes, smelling amazing, amplified. That's this in a bottle. That is Persian Garden Fragrance Oil by Kuumba Made. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this kind of different video idea. I think fragrance is anointing. We're anointing ourselves, and so in that way it is very magical, it is very spiritual, and it is fantasy. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in my next one. Mwah! Bye guys.